It all started so innocently, or so I told myself then. A slow, insidious creep of dissatisfaction that I barely acknowledged at first. Liam and I, we had built a life together. 7 years. 7 years of shared laughter, quiet evenings, ambitious dreams whispered into the darkness of our bedroom. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our comfortable silences. Anyone looking in would have called us the picture of stability, perhaps even envy, and I believed it too most of the time. I loved Liam. I still do, in a way that feels distant and painful now. But somewhere along the line, the spark, that intense, undeniable pull, started to fade. Or maybe it was just overshadowed by the mundane. The bills, the chores, the predictable rhythm of our days. I remember feeling a dull ache, a quiet yearning for something more, something undefined. I dismissed it as a natural part of long-term commitment. All relationships evolve, I reasoned. The fiery passion transforms into a warm, steady glow. That was the mature way to see it, right? I tried to convince myself it was enough. Then Mark walked into my life. He was a new client at work, charming, witty, and with an energy that felt like a jolt of electricity. He listened, truly listened, to my ideas, my frustrations, my aspirations, in a way I realized Liam hadn't done in years. Not because Liam didn't care, but because he knew me so well. He often anticipated my words, finished my sentences, and sometimes, just sometimes, I felt unheard. With Mark, everything was fresh, new, exciting. He saw me, truly saw me, as if I were a new book waiting to be read, each page a discovery. Our conversations would stretch beyond business hours, morphing into texts about shared interests, then late-night calls filled with laughter and a dangerous kind of intimacy. The line was blurry, almost imperceptible at first. It was just friendship, I told myself. A harmless connection. But my heart knew better. It beat a little faster when his name popped up on my phone screen. My stomach fluttered when he'd catch my eye across the conference room. I started dressing a little differently, paying more attention to my appearance, not for Liam, but for the possibility of seeing Mark. The guilt was a tiny prickle at first, easily ignored. The first kiss happened after a particularly intense project deadline. We were celebrating with the team, but somehow we found ourselves alone, lingering after everyone else had left. The air was thick with unspoken tension, charged with everything we hadn't dared to say. He looked at me, his eyes dark and full of a desire that mirrored my own. And in that moment, all my carefully constructed walls crumbled. It wasn't planned. It was a sudden, overwhelming urge, a desperate grab for that missing something. His lips on mine were soft, then urgent, tasting of whiskey and forbidden excitement. It was exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly wrong. My body screamed in protest, but my soul, or some dark part of it, felt a perverse sense of awakening. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. When I finally pulled away, breathless and trembling, the reality of what I had done crashed over me like a cold wave. I had crossed a line, a boundary I swore I would never even approach. I drove home in a daze, the taste of him still on my tongue, the phantom touch of his hands on my waist burning my skin. Liam was asleep when I got back, peaceful and oblivious. I looked at his sleeping face, a wave of profound shame washing over me. I felt like a stranger in my own home, a traitor in my own skin. That kiss was just the beginning. A door had been opened, and I lacked the strength, or perhaps the will, to close it. The affair became a secret life, a tangled web of lies and clandestine meetings. Lunches stretched into stolen hours. Work trips became opportunities for illicit rendezvous. Each time, the initial thrill was followed by a crushing wave of guilt. I perfected the art of deception. My phone became an extension of my paranoia, always close, always locked. Conversations with Liam became superficial, riddled with half-truths and evasions. I told myself it was for him, to protect him from the painful truth. But deep down, I knew it was for me, to protect my fragile illusion of a happy life. The intimacy with Liam withered. Every touch, every kiss felt like a betrayal. I loved him, I really did. But it was a different kind of love now, tainted by my actions, suffocated by my deceit. Mark offered an escape, a fantasy. He made me feel alive, desired, seen in a way Liam no longer seemed to. I rationalized it, told myself Liam was busy, distracted, that our relationship was simply going through a rough patch. But these were just excuses, flimsy coverings for the gaping hole I was digging for myself. I was living a lie, and the weight of it was becoming unbearable. The thrill began to curdle into anxiety. Every phone call, every unexpected knock at the door, sent a jolt of fear through me. My conscience, dulled by repeated transgression, occasionally screamed its protest. I would lie awake at night staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations, fabricating new excuses, my mind a relentless hamster wheel of deceit. Mark, while exciting, was also a constant reminder of my betrayal. Our stolen moments, once exhilarating, now felt increasingly hollow, punctuated by the silent acknowledgement of what we were doing, the lives we were jeopardizing. I saw the hurt in Liam's eyes sometimes, a fleeting look of confusion when I was distant, or a flicker of disappointment when I turned away from his touch. It tore me apart. I wanted to confess, to scream the truth and be done with the weight of it, but the fear of destroying everything was paralyzing. The shame was a heavy cloak, suffocating me. I started to resent Mark for being the catalyst, and I resented Liam for unknowingly trapping me in this unbearable situation. Most of all, I resented myself for my weakness, for my inability to be honest, for choosing a fleeting thrill over the unwavering love of a good man. The happiness I once sought was replaced by a gnawing emptiness. The bubble had to burst. All secrets eventually surface. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation, no shouting, no thrown objects. It was far more devastating. Liam found a text message. A single innocuous-sounding message from Mark that, when paired with my sudden defensiveness, clicked all the pieces into place for him. I saw the realization dawn on his face, a slow, agonizing slide from confusion to understanding, then to utter devastation. His eyes, usually so warm and full of affection, turned cold, filled with a pain so profound it mirrored my own burgeoning horror. There was no denying it, no twisting the truth, no weaving a new lie. The dam broke. I crumbled, sobbing uncontrollably, the years of suppressed guilt erupting in a torrent of shame and desperate apologies. But it was too late. The words were meaningless, hollow echoes against the shattered remnants of his trust. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just looked at me, his gaze brimming with a silent anguish that was far worse than any anger he could have expressed. He simply said, "How could you?" His voice was barely a whisper, broken and raw. That question haunts me to this day. How could I? The days that followed were a blur of grief and regret. The silence in our home was deafening, punctuated only by my own desperate cries. Liam moved out, not with a bang, but with a quiet, methodical packing of his things. Each item he took a physical representation of another piece of our life together being irrevocably severed. He deserved better, so much better than the heartache I had so carelessly inflicted. Mark disappeared from my life as quickly as he entered it, a phantom of a mistake, leaving only destruction in its wake. The fantasy he represented evaporated, revealing its true nature, a fleeting, selfish pursuit that had cost me everything. I lost my best friend, my partner, the future I had envisioned, the comfortable routines, the shared laughter, the quiet evenings, all gone. My world, once so stable, lay in ruins, a direct consequence of my choices. The emptiness that had once been a quiet ache in my soul now consumed me entirely. I was left alone with my guilt, a constant, heavy companion. It's been months since then, and the wound is still fresh, raw. I spend my days trying to piece myself back together, trying to understand what led me down that destructive path. Was it dissatisfaction, a craving for novelty, a deep-seated insecurity? Perhaps all of it, tangled into a complex knot of unmet needs and selfish desires. There are no easy answers, only endless self-reproach that echoes in the quiet corners of my new, solitary existence. I replay moments, searching for the exact point where I went wrong, where I chose selfish desire over unwavering commitment. The lessons are harsh, etched into my very being. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to mend, especially when the crack runs so deep. Love, though resilient, can be suffocated and killed by the cold grip of deceit. And personal integrity, once compromised, leaves a permanent, aching scar on the soul. I carry the weight of my actions every single day, a burden that never truly lightens. There's no easy forgiveness, especially not from myself, and I know I don't deserve it yet. I often wonder if Liam will ever heal, if he will ever find happiness again, free from the shadow I cast. I hope he does, with every fiber of my being. I hope one day he can look back without the sharp, searing sting of my betrayal. As for me, I am learning to live with the consequences, to rebuild my life brick by painful brick, attempting to cultivate genuine growth from the ashes of my mistakes. The person I was, the person who made those choices, is a stranger to me now. A dark reflection I struggle daily to reconcile with who I desperately want to be. Someone worthy of trust, someone honest. This is my story, a testament to the destructive power of a single selfish choice, a cautionary tale whispered from the depths of profound regret, a truth I now live with every waking breath.